Gordon Ryan has some things to say about Mikey Musumeci and what he's doing over at the UFC Fight Pass with his new exclusive contract. Let's take a listen.
You know, all these guys who stand on moral high grounds in the sport are just the fakest people on the planet. So just like, this is a guy who's attacking my morals and saying, he's a cheater, this and that. This guy has been on 37 different jiu-jitsu teams. Like, he just takes what he wants from a team, and then when he has all the knowledge that he can get, he just leaves and goes to a different team. It's like, just shut up, dude. Just leave me alone and do your thing.
Now that the UFC's getting...
So that's in response to Mikey Musumeci's interview that he did last week, attacking jiu-jitsu and the world of jiu-jitsu as a whole because of the PED use that is rampant and very, very prominent throughout. All the best guys, according to Gordon Ryan, are on PEDs, so why would you want to stop that? Mikey Musumeci said a lot, talked a lot of shit about all the guys that are doing PEDs, and Gordon Ryan does not agree with that whatsoever. So the question is, whose side is correct? That's the debate going on right now. I don't have a particular opinion on this. I don't think steroids should be used, but if they're gonna be used, then you, Mikey, stand up, be the moral guy, don't take them, and see if you can beat the guys that are on steroids. It's part of it, man. I'm afraid to tell you, though, that it seems like steroids are just a part of the sport. Much like in cycling when Lance Armstrong was lambasted for taking steroids, almost everybody else in cycling was also on steroids at the time. It was rampant. It was very, very much prominent in the world of cycling back then, but Lance Armstrong was the winner. He kept winning. He was dominant. He was popular, so they lambasted. They drug him over the coals, even though everybody was on steroids. So, the question is Gordon right? Is Mikey right? If I had it my way, I'd get rid of them, but they're in such prevalent use that you can't just remove them entirely from the sport. Guys are going to start tanking in their careers. Things are going to happen. Lawsuits are going to come from promotions, from fighters, wherever, whoever. I don't know what the hell will happen if you took steroids away as a whole. Hard to test everybody, hard to keep everything under control because there's not very many exclusive contracts like Mikey has. So, again, let's listen back into Gordon Ryan.
More and more into professional grappling. What are your thoughts on cleaning up the sport as far as PEDs and drug testing as professional grappling gets more and more in the mainstream?
Well, I think I'm pretty indifferent as to insofar as PEDs one way or the other. If a tournament wants to have them, great. If they don't want to have them, great. I think obviously the matches will be better. I think the athletes will be better athletes. The athletes will definitely be able to get paid more because the better you perform, the better you look. These are all things that will lead to you being paid more as an athlete. People want to see the world's best athletes. So if I go out there and I'm 30 pounds overweight and I look like a slob or I'm not jacked, me and Andre, we both went out and we competed at ADCC and we were both shredded. We looked like real athletes, and that's what people want to see. And the main issue right now with taking performance enhancers out of jiu-jitsu is there's not one governing body in jiu-jitsu. So you or I can start a tournament tomorrow, and we can, one of us can have PEDs legal and one of us can have PEDs illegal. So the problem is that if one organization makes it so that PEDs are illegal, but then all the other organizations that you're competing at throughout the rest of the year say they're legal, now I have to be clean throughout the year to compete at your one organization, but the rest of the guys who aren't competing at your organization can do steroids the full year round. So then I'm competing against those guys natural, and then the other organizations, those are the guys who are using PEDs. So the problem is it needs to be one thing across the board. They either need to be legal across the board for all the big tournaments, or they need to be illegal, because then if they're illegal for one but they're legal for the other, you're just going to have athletes who won't compete in those events. Like you see IBJJF, they started making PEDs illegal for worlds, and for Nogi worlds and for Gi worlds. And now the athletes just aren't even competing at them. Or they're competing, they're getting popped, and then they're taking 2-year suspensions. So it just kind of ruined IBJJF. The top-level guys just aren't doing it anymore because of the fact that they're competing in other organizations all year round, and the other guys who are competing in those organizations are going to be juiced up for the full year, but then they have to cycle off to get ready for IBJJF. So it's the problem. The main problem is there's not one governing body. So, if you fix that and...
So the clip circulating around the internet right now, going viral, is that Gordon Ryan is suffering from a lot of health issues due to the PEDs, and that his body has to take some kind of punishment for taking PEDs, and that he's willing to do that to look good, compete, and do better in the ring, in the cage, in wherever they're going to be competing, on the mats, obviously. But the thing is, he's right. He sounds like it's allowed, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to take advantage of it. I do appreciate that he says that, listen, if they make it illegal, then okay, I guess it's illegal, and if they can get a governing body together, let's do it. I'm all game. That definitely sounds like what he's doing. Gordon Ryan sometimes comes off as a little bit abrasive, a little bit controversial at times, but I don't disapprove of his take here, in the terms that, listen, if they want to figure out how to do things properly, then I'm all game. But for right now, I'm going to take advantage of the rules and the laws that allow me to do what I need to do to compete at the highest level. You can't fault him for that. He's taking advantage of what is already in place. If they fix it, if they solve it, then he's going to be all game for it. So we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think about all this down below. It's very, very controversial here. PEDs, no PEDs. I mean, he is justifying PED use. And listen, I don't really agree with that, but it's either all the way or not at all. And that's just a fundamental fact of what is going on here. So again, let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.